everybody, this is Mike Wilkinson with First Aid Exotics coming at you with a new video. Today's video is going to be on the tools and supplies needed to be a breeder, hobbyist, or just right down to being a reptile owner. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first item is going to be hand sanitizer. It's very important that you sanitize your hands every time you touch your reptile, especially if you have multiple reptiles. That way you don't pass any bacteria or any kinds of parasites on to the next animal you own or to anybody in your family. So your main thing that you're going to definitely need is hand sanitizer. So let's go to the next one. The next thing that you're going to need is to get you a nice snake hook. They come in multiple different sizes. This is a medium snake hook. We have a small snake hook. Now, me personally, I use this for opening up the tubs when I'm feeding because you want to be able to stay into a safe distance. You can use this right on the tub, open it, feed your snake, close it back. You're completely safe and out of the striking distance. You can also use it to touch your pet with, to hook train them to where you can let them know that it's not feed time. You can use it depending on what kind of reptile you have to pick them up with. If you have venomous snakes or anything like that. So another tool that's very important is snake hooks. So let's go to the next tool that you'll definitely need. Next thing you're going to need is feeding tongs. They come in different sizes as well. This is what you would consider a medium-sized feeding tong and a small feeding tong. They make a large. I happen to not use them, so I don't have them. But these are definitely good for feeding hatchling snakes and subadult snakes. Along with them, you can also get these Hemostats. They come in different sizes as well, depending on what size your snake is, whether you're doing a hatchling or subadults. These are perfect for feeding or doing anything like that with your snakes. So definitely get you a pair of feeding tongs or Hemostats. Definitely need these. Next, another tool that you're definitely going to need is a Temp Gun. Now this is very, very important, making sure that you get your snake or reptile's temps perfect. Especially with a lot of reptiles where they have to have special hot spots. These come in handy because you can just pull the trigger. You get a little red dot. Hopefully you can see that on my hand. And then it will read the temp. That way you know that the hot spot is where you need it to be. Or even if you just point it in the air and get a reading of your ambient temp. A temp gun is a must-have in any reptile owner facility. Definitely have to have a temp gun. Now also, I feel is a good thing, especially for people that are just starting out in the hobby of owning snakes, is a snake hide. A lot of times when snakes get scared, they won't feed. So if you have a snake hide, they can go in there and they can hide, and it will give them that closure that they need and security to make them go back eating, because as you can see, it's blacked out all the way around. They feel like you cannot see them. Again, they come in different shapes. They come in different sizes. This is something that you would use for, a 500-gram snake versus a nice little hatchling snake. And they even come in bigger sizes than this. But hides are a must, especially if you're a beginner or have any kind of species of snake that is, really scared and like having its privacy. So hides a must-have. So let's go on to our next on the list. Okay, another thing that I feel is a must-have is a scale. Now, you can pick these up on tons of sites. You can even go to your local Walmart and get one of the kitchen scales. They work perfect. The reason I feel a scale is definitely a must-have is because when you're constantly feeding your reptile, you can weigh it. Make sure that they're gaining the proper weight. Seeing what their weight is. That way, if you need to increase their food or decrease their food, this is your best way of knowing what's going on with your reptile's weight is with a scale. So this is definitely a must-have, I feel, in any reptile collection is a scale. So after this, let's go to the next one. Okay, now this is chlorhexidine. This is a disinfectant. This is a definitely must-have. This right here is a gallon of chlorhexidine, just one single capful. It says tablespoon, but I suggest using a whole capful in a spray bottle. And you put the capful in the spray bottle, fill the rest of it with water. This thing right here will last you 3 months. But this will kill any kind of bacteria that any reptile can produce. This is the best on the market other than your F10, which is what your vets would use. But the vets are now switching over to this because it's a lot cheaper and it does just as well. $15 for a gallon that will last you 3 months. So again, chlorhexidine is a must-have in any reptile collection. All right, let's go to our next. Okay, the next couple items that I'm going to go over is pretty much for things that I feel you must have in your reptile collection is for when you need to administer first aid to your snake. Okay, so some type of iodine antiseptic, because, you know, if a rat bites your snake, if you feed live, this will definitely come in handy, or any type of things that you might need antiseptic for. So definitely always keep iodine on hand. Some type of triple antibiotic ointment, Neosporin or whatever. Definitely, especially if you get scale rot or anything like that. This is definitely going to be very important to have on hand because this will heal that scale rot up really quickly, really easily. Okay, a couple things that you're getting into your more serious thing that most reptile pet owners, some don't get this far into detail. But if you're, you know, the type that likes trying to do everything first before you go see a vet, because I'm a firm believer in taking your reptile to a vet ain't always the best thing to do right away. So I am a firm believer in like the Reptoboost. If you have a problem with a reptile that's losing weight or just ain't eating, you can administer some Reptoboost and it will boost their metabolism, give them vitamins, and cause them to go back eating a lot easier just by putting a little bit in their mouth. It literally goes in and tells you exactly how to do it, so you can't go wrong. And even if you did give them too much, this is nothing major, this is nothing serious, so it will not hurt your reptile if you accidentally give them too much. So this is definitely, I feel, something to have on hand instead of having to worry about trying to go to a vet and being charged all that money when this is like 15 bucks, if that. Okay, so another thing I'm a firm believer in, if you end up having to feed your snake, force feed your snake or something, or reptile, and again, this is only, I'm not saying do this. If you're able to go to a vet, please go to a vet, because if you do not feel comfortable doing this kind of stuff, please do not do it. Only do it if you feel comfortable. This is what this is a feed tube for when you have to do, like, say for instance, if you have a sick snake and you have to give them food, you put this down their throat after you have your food in here, and you just easily inject it into their stomach. But again, I've been doing this for a very long time, so I feel comfortable doing these kind of things with my snakes. Again, because I've been doing it a while. If you have no experience doing this, I do not recommend you doing it. Only if you have experience or you know somebody that can help you out that knows how to do it. That's the only time I recommend you doing this on your own. But it is good to have just in case. Okay, another thing I definitely recommend having on hand. Let me put this up real fast. This right here. This is a vet antibiotic. Okay, I happen to, obviously since I've been in the hobby for a long time, I'm real good friends with my exotic vet. So when I get a snake that gets a RI, or I get a snake that gets sick from no matter what it is, I have certain antibiotics that they give me. They come in a tube like this. They give me needles that I can minister the antibiotics and everything else. If you feel comfortable, or even if you go to the vet and they show you properly the very first time, always have it on hand. That way, if something happens, you can immediately start treating your snake. That way it don't spread into your collection. So having antibiotics and needles on hand to where you can minister the antibiotics, in my opinion, is definitely a must-have in your collection. Now, that's going to conclude the tools that you need for a reptile collection today. We're going to go ahead and also in this video show you the proper way of sexing your snake. So bear with me and give me a second and I'll show you how to properly sex your snake. Okay, so here we have a male GHI Mojave Het Orange Ghost. Now this is obviously, like I said, a male, so I'm going to show you the proper way of inverting the hemipines. So if you come right on in, I'll show you how to properly sex a male. Okay, what you want to do is you want to get the snake nice and relaxed. Have his tail nice and relaxed like that. Just barely pull back at the cloaca, take his tail, and pop. As you can see, there's a hemipene. Let it go back in. See if we can get both of them this time. Well, just one wants to pop, but as you can see, that's a male. There's a hemipene. Now, when I showed you doing that, it may look like there's a lot of pressure being used, but it's barely any pressure. Should I show you again on a male? Just barely pull back and roll, and it pops right out. Again, pull back and just roll, and it pops out. Now let's try this on a female. Okay, here is a female. Now let me show you what it will look like when you sex a female. Same thing goes. Go right to the cloaca. Take this thumb. Just barely pull back on the cloaca. Take your right thumb and just roll forward. And as you can see, nothing pops out. Again, fix it. Take your left thumb. Barely pull back on the cloaca. Take your right thumb and just roll forward. And you see no hemipenes averting. All right, one more time just to be on the safe side. Right at the cloaca, you take your left hand, pull back very gentle, your right thumb, you roll forward. And as you can see, there's nothing. A female. Okay. Okay, everybody, I hope you liked the video. Make sure you subscribe, like, share. If you have any suggestions for another video, please comment down below and let me know what you would like to know, what you would like to learn, what you would like to hear, or even if there's certain things you'd like to see. Comment down below and let me know. Even if you like the video, comment down below, let me know. If you hate the video, let me know on that. Make sure you like the video, you subscribe, you share. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.